Today's excitement. My dog's an asshole. Right there. Okay, so today I'm going to talk y'all about energy efficiency a little bit. Some of you guys, will buy a house and not really realize what your ductwork is like underneath your house, or that your crawl space access is actually really important. So I went ahead and I fabbed up this, it's pretty much hand fabbed, this cover, the metal cover that goes over my girlfriend's crawl space access here, because what they had before was just dumping water on the side. This lip right here should actually go up underneath the siding. I'm gonna have to lower the metal crawl space access guard so I can slide it up under there. So lay this over here. But what I've done is I ended up having to reframe with new treated stuff, 2x6s right here on the sides. But I made this door that goes inside of here. It goes inside of the crawl space. So if I flip these guys up right here and then give her a push, it should tip inside there, and it does actually. He's got to push it at the bottom down here. But the idea of this was and is to prevent rodents from getting inside of the crawl space, because I went under here and realized that there was holes in her flex ductwork and her trunk line. It's a fiberboard trunk line. So the rats had gotten inside of it. There was holes in the ductwork that I had to seal up because she was losing heat into her crawl space. So this was actually a pretty simple job. It took me about an hour and a half to do all of this, like get all the material and build it all. So I want to go back a little bit and I want to touch on this crawl access that I got here. So I made this pan to keep water from going inside of here as much as possible. That way it doesn't start to rot the treated lumber that this is fastened to. So some people might say that because we have this cover over your crawl space access here, that should be enough to keep rodents out. But what people don't realize is that there's an air gap right here where rodents can climb up over the top of it, and rats are pretty smart. They can jump about, I think, like 1.5 feet, maybe even more than that. I used to have a rat as a pet. It was pretty cool. His name was Miller. Anyways, he was white, red eyes, lab rat. So yeah, so there's an air gap right there. You can see it right there. So that's why I ended up framing in this door that goes up over and locks this whole thing shut. That way, if the rodents get inside of here, they can't go into there. That is more important than this. So I'm under her house. This is 6-inch flex duct. It's pretty reasonable. This is I'm gonna replace it with some R8 that I got at Gensco. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's a pretty easy do-it-yourself kind of a gig. A lot of people, like heating guys, used to use duct tape to hold it all together originally. I'm gonna use panduit straps. And if you don't know what panduit straps are, they are literally these long zip ties that we use in the heating industry for replacing flex or installing flex. You can also use them on, like, I don't know, the drive line of your father-in-law's truck or your brother-in-law or what have you. It's a pretty fun prank. You wrap it around there, you pull it tight by hand so the tail of it sticks upwards so they don't see it, and then they hop inside their vehicle to drive off, and it goes tink, 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 tink on their floorboard, and it's a pretty fun prank. But anyways, so I open up the crawl space access, and her crawl space is warm, so I know there's still air leakage under this house. So you don't want that. You're not paying to heat your crawl space, you're paying to heat your house. So it's money lost. So I am going to be replacing where some reason this is all ripped up, and there are spots where I could tell where rodents had been into the ductwork. So I'm going to be sealing a lot of stuff up down here. So this is kind of wild. This is the vent to my girlfriend's bathroom in this house she bought. I pulled it loose from the 90 that goes up into the bathroom. This is a heat register. And I can see right there inside the ductwork right here that there is a hole in the side of the flex in the inside liner. And then I look down inside of here. I don't know if I can really see it, but you could tell that there has been water inside of this flex line. Like somebody must have flooded the bathroom at one time and filled the ductwork up, which is probably why somebody had opened up the ductwork, the flex, the outer liner where you see the insulation here. They probably opened that up to let it dry. So I'm assuming I'll find out more about this when I pull this whole piece out and look at it. So here's another video of or clip of the ductwork I just pulled out of the crawl space just to the bathroom off the main trunk line. See, they got the insulation all ripped apart right here. So this right here isn't good because you got heat lossage right here anyways. So cutting the flex, these are pretty much your common tools that you'll need. You can either use a knife like this or a steak knife or one of your ex-wife to be's like best I guess steak knives. So then you just get a pair of pliers, because this flex, the reason why you got to have the knife is you cut your insulation around here. You got the outer layer of plastic, the insulation, and then the wire cutter is for this. The inner flex liner has a wire in it that helps keep it structure so it doesn't implode on itself and collapse or whatever. Keeps it nice and round. Then you pull the flex out a little ways, and then I like to roll the outer liner, so when I'm done it looks like this. That way you don't get a bunch of insulation all over yourself. Granted, going in the crawl space, insulation is probably the least of your worries. You got spiders and rat poop and pee. So yeah, but I laid the old flex line out and I took the new stuff and I laid it beside it and I cut it with about a foot extra on either end. That way when I go to put the flex up on the vent, I'll pull the outer liner over the top of the 6-inch ductwork, so that way the insulation makes a nice cover over the metal. You don't want, I try not to have metal exposed. That way it holds in more heat. And there's that dog. He leaves landmines for me. He's kind of a jerk. But right now he's out guarding the premises. Dick. So now I got this here Panduit gun right here. And I wrapped the Panduit, this giant zip tie, around the new flex. On these metal taps, they should have a volume damper inside of it to help with the airflow that you want per room. So on these taps, there's like a bead right here so it's crimped down, the tap is, so you can slip if you want to go hard pipe, you can slip hard pipe over this crimp. But then there's a bead above that. I should have gotten a little clip or an exposed video clip of that. But anyways, I put my Panduit over above the bead. That way it's a less chance of the flex eventually slipping off. I don't use duct tape when I do this, because over time duct tape will fail and it will release, and then you will have a problem. So I stick to these Panduits, and I just make sure you got to get one of these tools. They're actually really handy. You'll probably only use it one time in your entire life in a crawl space if you don't do this for work. But literally, it pulls the Panduit nice and tight, and then you squeeze the second lever and it cuts the tail off. And now that won't come off there. And then you'll pull the insulation over it, and then you'll do the same thing. Now you got to be careful when you put the insulation over and you pull that zip tie down, because when you tighten it up, it'll bunch up right where this part this part pulls through. It'll bunch it up under that and get caught up in there, and then it'll be hard to make it so it makes it nice tight connection. You got to really pay attention to that. You'll definitely have to buy a pack of these suckers for sure. Like I said, they're good for playing good little jokes on people, but I'm a serious person. I don't have time for jokes. So, and then when I'm done with sealing this off with the flex, or sorry, with the Panduits, I'll come back and I got Pookie, and I'll go over all of the tape connections, and then where you can tell rodents had tried to chew through. This is the crappy thing about crawl spaces when people don't keep them sealed, is see all this right here? That's rat poop. So there was holes in this ductwork because of the rats. There used to be rats down here, there's not anymore. So anyways, and I'm not gonna show my face because I'm too beautiful, but I've got a freaking face mask on because I don't want to breathe that shit. So this right here is Pookie. This is what we call Pookie anyways. It's a Pro Seal. And what you do is you take this stuff. It's very kind of, it's gnarly. It's water-based. This stuff is water-based, this brand. If you get it on your clothes, it's on your clothes. But so I'm gonna Pookie this right here where the mice or rats had tried to chew through. I ended up having to come down here one day when I realized this was pretty much partially pulled off because we weren't getting any heat in the bathroom. This house was a divorce situation, so there wasn't really much of an inspection on it when she bought the house. So I'm gonna Pookie over all of the spots where I put tin tape down. That way it's less chance of it failing, eventually peeling away. That Pookie will frickin' last a really long time. And there's on the side of it, on the directions, it tells you how thick to lay the Pookie on. I don't usually go by that. I just slap it on thick. So there's spots where I had to put tin tape on where the original tape, the foil tape that they originally used, was breaking away, and I could see air movement coming through. So I'm gonna Pookie that tape really thick. That way it sticks really well. But I'm gonna go around all of these stupid taps in this foil duct. It's a oh gosh, I forget the name of it. It's duct board. It's like fiberglass. It's kind of like this insulation, but stiffer is what it's made out of. And I personally don't like this stuff. I haven't met many tin bangers who actually do enjoy this stuff, because when you go to cut into it, man, it just makes a mess, and it sucks when you feel it in your eyes and on your skin. So anyways, so while I was out taking a quick break, putting my headlamp on charge, my girlfriend's dog dug into the ductwork here. So it kind of defeats my idea of wanting to do my own inspection on that ductwork. See, now he's taking a break. He was probably just practicing in case somebody crossed the fence. He had to rip them apart. And that's probably what he was doing. Look how aggressive he is right there. Butthole. Screw you, butthole. So this is another run that my girlfriend had. Went to one of the bedrooms in the house. If I looked in here a few feet back, you see where that, like, it looks like a net stuff sticking up. That is part of the outer liner that they wrap around this to kind of hold the insulation in. So rats have been inside this ductwork too. So when I went down to do the inspection on this house while the heating system was running, I could see the liner on the ductwork moving from the airflow going through it. So that was another indication that there was holes in this ductwork. So again, she was heating her crawl space. Before I sealed off that door and started sealing the ductwork again, I could walk by those vents. How I have the styrofoam on them. When I put the last plug on the vent, I could feel air blowing through there, and it was pretty obvious to me there's still some air leakage under this house. So yeah, her monthly power bill was about $500, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how much the heating bill goes down. So curious.